Okay, remember a couple of hours ago when I said that that was going to be the only video with a crappy mic? I was definitely wrong because of everything that I found out in the last couple of hours. Starting first of all with a little bit of a glitch in the matrix. If I press refresh here, it quickly refreshes all these prices to some arbitrary number here and then corrects back. And I am wondering if this corrected version when I refresh is the right one or the newer version which it settles to. Because crypto is going crazy again and Bitcoin is getting really close to 49,000 and it really just broke a new all-time high. It's even right now above the previous all-time high which we saw. And again, this stuff is happening in the middle of the freaking night for me. Right now, I don't know how much AM it is, but it's definitely past 2. So you can already guess that most people are asleep right now, right here. And that's always how this happens. Every time I go to bed, boom, crypto pushes to the frickin' moon. I thought about putting some more money in ETH before I went to bed. I didn't have enough time, though, to really arrange everything. And of course, I was always hoping for a little bit of a push down as well. Looking at it right now, though, oh, oh, that's awful. This is just awful. It's gonna go above 1800. It's gonna even go higher and higher and higher right this night. No way. Things are, oh my days. I should have just bought more. But that's the thing you always have with crypto, right? You were always sad that you didn't buy more. That's all side talk though, guys. Make sure you press the like button and subscribe if you are enjoying the daily crypto news. And right now we got something really crazy. Even though I don't actually want to let you guys listen to this video, I do think you guys should check it out for yourselves and use whatever additional information I'm giving you to make some fair judgment. This video is very interesting. Let me give you that much. All right, before we get into that though, also my question of today is what is your XRP price prediction for longer term? 1,000, 100, $1, $10, $10,000? Because in this video, we can already see it here, Jimmy Valley, Managing Director of Valhil Capital, gives us some insight on the price of XRP after regulatory clarity. And this video comes from James Rule here. He shared that. And basically, I think on the left is James here. On the right is the Valhil Capital guy, Jimmy Valley here. And he basically says if XRP, which really be the ultimate bridge currency, then it could have a value between $10,000 and $35,000 per coin, which would be given to it instantaneously. Now, you guys all know, I do think that $10,000 per coin is something which is theoretically speaking possible with a non-US dollar standard as the world reserve currency, which I would say is possible because then it doesn't really matter how many dollars one XRP costs. It's about how many XRP a dollar costs, basically. Or in this case, how many XRP a gold ounce would cost you, right? It doesn't matter what the dollar stands for anymore, as right now everything's denominated in a dollar, as is the world reserve currency. But then with XRP at 10,000 or even higher than that per coin, it definitely would have to be a other standard. Otherwise, I just do not see it happening in a standard like we have right now, unless we're talking, 25 years into the future with a completely different world the way we know it. Maybe some hyperinflation somewhere, some crazy new things. I'm not saying never, though. Again, I'm not saying never. I just do not see it in the foreseeable future, so the next 5 years or so, at $10,000 per coin. But I've done a little bit of digging, and that's because I do think it was a little bit odd for somebody to, of any caliber really, to come up with a $10,000 or $35,000 prediction like that. Even though I personally would say I do it all the time, I think about these things. I never really give these predictions out of my own pocket. I'm never talking about $10,000 per coin on my own. I always use somebody as a reference who has said it before. And I always say, yeah, it's possible, but I would never give my own explanation as a basis as to why $10,000 per XRP would work. And I thought, why does he all of a sudden start about that? Why does he talk about that? By the way, go again, check out the video. I'll just quickly retweet it here so you can find it over on my Twitter, which by the way is TheDustTBC. But I checked out the Valhil Capital and they have announced an investment in Astrolight Media Group, an Austin-based blockchain media company. And this is basically, funny enough, the company from James Rule. So this guy here over on Twitter, we used to follow each other, but I told him to not send me so much news anymore via DM. And I think he got angry, so he unfollowed me, so I unfollowed him too. That's sometimes how it works in this space. Whatever. Still a good guy, by the way. I'm not saying he's bad. He puts a lot of work into YouTube as well. It's definitely appreciated because I guess it's good work. But basically, he invested in his company. That's the way I read it here. So, Houston and Austin, Texas, Valhil Capital LLC, a Houston-based private equity investment firm, today announced the closing of its initial equity commitment into Astrolight Media Group LLC, AMG, an Austin-based media company focused on the development of media, artists, and personalities in the emerging technology sectors of blockchain, crypto, and other digital assets. Financial terms were not disclosed. And at the bottom, you can see here, said, "We are absolutely aligned with Valhil's emerging sector emphasis and its strategy of unlocking unrealized value among highly innovative companies. Our management team is thrilled to work with Valhil to expand their mosaic of high-potential investments," said James Rule, AMG's chief executive officer or CEO. And that's when it kind of clicked to me. This has been a pretty new company, and I really doubt that this was not in some way a little bit set up in the sense that, you're just thinking of doing something along these lines for attention. Because I sometimes question how you would ever get to a $35,000 per XRP price prediction just with your rational mind. Like, what's going on there? How do you get that number? Where do you get it from? I have thought about so many different things, and I can still never understand exactly how people can really say $35,000 per coin, just it's going to happen quickly, just like that, snap. Is it possible? Again, I'm always going to say yes. I'm always going to say any arbitrary price you pick per XRP is possible. I am never saying no. That does not mean, however, that I think it's going to be simple, nor do I think that there's a destinated plan for it, nor do I think that even if XRP becomes the world's official bridge currency, which it has a good chance to do, it's first of all not Ripple's plan to do that, because Ripple has said before there'll be a good chunk of the entire network, but they'll never be the full thing. That's, again, Ripple's core value. That's what they've said before in things. But again, you don't know how things grow. Sometimes it can go bigger than expected. But even then, how does it all of a sudden get to $35,000 per coin? That just sometimes doesn't click to me exactly how people come up with these numbers. Because you can say, okay, if you get gold's market cap, but even then, you're not getting there. And then, okay, so all the value that's being transferred in the world every day, but then I can always give a counter argument as to why that is not necessary. If we are discussing that XRP should be the main bridge currency in this world, it doesn't have to be $10,000, doesn't have to be $35,000 per coin. Is it beneficial? Yes. As my only bookmark, as you guys know, is David Schwartz explaining why a higher XRP price would definitely be beneficial. So don't get me wrong, I would definitely hope for this, and I think a higher price is easier, always. But I think that benefit kind of fades at $100 per coin already. If we're at $100 per coin, I think almost anything can be realized as, well, yeah, we just have so much money then that all these companies can have in XRP that things are already a little, quite simple, I would say. But then again, if we extend that a little bit towards $1,000 per XRP, yeah, how much money do you want to transfer? It's always going to be simple. If it's $1,000 per XRP, there's $50 billion tokens in supply, or $100 billion even, theoretically speaking. There's going to be enough if there's 1,000. But then again, okay, let's put $10,000. You cannot tell me that there, even with $10,000 per coin, is not enough for value transfers. The only thing you can say is, Dusty, if I want to transfer $10 trillion, it's not going to be that simple. No. But what else? What is that kind of question? Ripple has even in their patent explained, if you want to do huge transfers, they will take it and divide it into smaller sections to do over different exchanges, for example, because you can kind of guess for yourself that however much money you have, you can always pick an arbitrary amount of money that will not work for that. You might say, okay, but at $35,000, $50,000 per XRP, we can finally do X amount of dollar transactions or this amount of dollar transactions. But once more, you can always put that number up higher, so that's not really a valid strategy. And in my opinion also, the problem there is that would also mean there is going to be more money in this world, basically. If we're really valuing $50,000 per XRP, then first of all, we're making Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, the first, I don't even know how much money they would have then. So just think about that they have, for example, 10 billion coins. Let's say Chris Larson has 10 billion coins, right? So 10 billion, you do the math for me right here for a little second, because I'm stupid with English names and all these higher numbers than a billion. I always forget how it works in English, so please just do, $50,000 times 10 billion and tell me the number in the comment section down below, because that's how much money Chris Larson then, for example, is going to have. I don't know how much XRP he has, but just to make it easy for yourself, let's go for 10 billion. So it's possible, again, once more, but that would mean that either XRP has to be taken away from them, or they have to think of some system, or he's going to be richer than the entire world on his own, basically. Which is possible, yeah. But still, it's a little bit odd, right? Or does that mean that America takes over most of the supply, for example, but that would make America a big superpower and the rest of the world stupid? That wouldn't work either. You guys see where I'm trying to go? Where it's like every part of this has like a counter side, and I'm just always wondering how people come up with these numbers, just because they also have a negative side to them, which is either because they make the people too rich, or because they're just really hard to realize, where people have to really value it to that extent, or because it would make one country kind of a bigger superpower than all the others, which other countries do not accept. On that note, there's always conferences going on, right? G20 or whatever, G7, G30. Don't you think as well that in one of those conferences, they're just going to really say, hey, America, I know what you're doing, but you're messing up the entire world with this one action? So you're saying America is going to overtake XRP and then announce it to the public, which will just be them valuating the coin at a certain amount. Nobody can do that except for a whole meeting all coming together and accepting that. But then once more, that would make Chris Larson richer than, literally half the world, which is still a little bit of a difficult part. It's possible, but it's a difficult thing to really pinpoint down exactly as to how that would work. Because that's 10 billion times 50,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money, right? You guys see where I'm trying to go. On a different stand, I actually was checking out here XRP Scan, where you can, by the way, check a lot of cool things. If you type in taco stand, which, you can do, you can just type in different wallets. These have a nickname, basically, the wallets, so you can check them. You'll see that Jim McCaleb actually sent out 60 million XRP, not 20. He sent 3 transactions of 20 million, not 2. So I do not know where I got the wrong info from then, that he was only sending out 40 million XRP. It was actually 60, which was rather interesting to me. Also, check out GSX. A link is down below. It is the first gold-backed coin. I personally put some money into it. Right now, it's 10 cents per coin, plus a 50% bonus, plus a 5% bonus for using my link. And you guys know, all right, I can most likely get more views by being extremely bullish, saying, guys, this guy just said $10,000 per coin, $35,000 per coin. This is going to happen. Woo, woo, woo. But no, I really have made kind of a vow that I'm going to stay honest, even if it costs me my career, even if it costs me money, even if I don't get any views because of it, because I don't think it's worth selling my soul over. And I really want to give you guys exactly what I honestly think. You all know I am extremely bullish on XRP. It is a large of my positions. It's a large position of mine. But I also think we got to be real, because we're really talking about money right here. We're talking about your money, my money. And if I'm just loosely throwing around, we're going to hit $35,000 and it doesn't really happen, you're just preparing yourself for something which might never happen, right? I don't want that. I want to be real, and I want to have the best scenarios in our heads that are actually possible and actually almost certainly going to happen. And that's why I always like to talk about the nearer future with, for example, $12 per XRP, $13, $7, stuff like that, because I know we could just get there in like a snap in an instant. If we're talking about 10,000, 35,000, I just think the world as it stands right now is not ready for that. And I have no idea what type of solutions, what type of agreements would have to be made, and what type of world parties would have to be made, come together to really decide upon something like that. Because it's not going to be a 1, 2, 3 type of thing. Also, think about it. If they are using XRP for a debt loosening system, the US couldn't do it on its own. And even if they did, it would most likely be boycotted by the rest of the world if they were to do this and adopt XRP only purely for, a debt perspective. In a different sense also, if the US were to do that, then this lawsuit would definitely be positive in terms of result. And it would actually be kind of strange that then after the lawsuit, they would all of a sudden start to figure it out. You would kind of think that they would never get sued for it, right? If they were to really have it as the US only world currency, something like that, which some people come up with. So again, I do not think the US on its own would ever agree on something like that. Can the world basically, so the leading parties all agree on something revolving around XRP? Yes. Could XRP become like the standard which we have right now with Swift? Yes. All of those things I can say yes to. Does that mean we're all of a sudden going to see $10,000, $34,000 per XRP? No. Do I think that that's a little bit orchestrated for attention? There's a good chance that that is the case indeed. It could be that he really does think so, but I'm just always a little bit careful with stuff like that because I do think that if you are really convinced 10,000, 35,000 is just an easy thing for XP to get to, you're a little bit deluded because it's definitely not a simple thing and it's something which might really, I'm going to say 99% certain that it's never going to happen. But it is possible and we are hoping for it. But take into consideration that these guys have some benefit in talking about it because if I were to make a show right now, think about it. If I were to make a show right now, get some CEO on or asset, whatever his name was, managing director on, even though he's just my friend, if I were to go to one of my friends right now, and they're CEOs of companies, right? Because I know them, and just go to them and I just act and tell them, yo, tell me you think XRP is going to go to $100,000 per coin. I have the best clickbait title in the world. It's not even clickbait because it's really true, because he's really telling me that. Doesn't mean there's any substance behind it. Now, I am, of course, showing you only one part of the story because it's actually a couple of minutes worth of a video here, and I do believe there's even more video if you actually go to James Rule's page and just check everything out. However, that does not mean that you cannot orchestrate something like that, and it's also not a nice find then if it's his own thing. Again, I'm not too sure. I think this is James, though. Looking at his head, I'm trying to compare it. I don't know what his voice sounds like. Is it a find if it's actually his own video? And the question in my mind is, are we being too happy with all of this? Are we being realistic or too happy? In a different sense, which I also got to get and give you guys some credit for. Bitcoin, nobody thought it would ever get to this amount of money. So, yeah, in like even 10 years, a lot of crazy stuff can happen. And we can actually break all bounds. And I'm, of course, not putting market cap as a restriction. I'm just sometimes thinking going to trillionaire status for crypto holders is going to be simple. So I do believe that, for example, Jem McCaleb, Chris Larson, Vitalik Buterin, Satoshi Nakamoto, all those will be trillionaires in due time. I do think so. Even Elon Musk might be a trillionaire in the next 10 years. However, do I think they'll go a step above there to whatever comes in English? I don't know. Quadrillionaires, maybe? I freaking if I know. Quintillion is one above there even as well, huh? So times 1,000 again. Point being, or times 10, times 1,000. I'm not sure. No, I think times 1,000 is always how it goes. I'm just talking to you guys about, the new layer, trillionaires, is going to be simple. You still got to have 1,000 trillion to go one layer up, though. And that's, again, something I'm more so thinking about. Like, yeah, will crypto in the next 20 years bring us to that level? Not sure. And that's, again, what we have to think about if XRP really goes to those levels. If XRP does not overtake the financial system to become the world reserve, right? If it's just a bridge asset, it doesn't have to have any higher value all of a sudden. It can, but that would most likely not be the way. I would say they would just create a different coin than if they want to give it a certain value if it's a stable coin. If it's market, so basically demand and supply, though, they cannot give it a certain value. They cannot do that in no way, shape, or form. They can, however, incentivize the purchases, or they can incentivize the use, which would mean more demand for the coin as well. Literal bridge transfers themselves are not a net increase nor net decrease in XRP utility. No, I guess it's an increase in utility because you're using it. Net increase in demand, I should say. However, the speculational side and, of course, the side that it has the use case does increase, which means more potential, which means more people would want to have the coin. So the demand, of course, increases. And, of course, the idea that Nostro Vostro goes away a little bit has been disputed, but I disputed that dispute, saying it is true. Nostro Vostro, all that system, all that money can be taken off. Okay. But then again, would all just put XRP at a couple $1 trillion. That still does not explain, times 150,000, right now. So, for example, times 2 would have put it at $1, and then times 50,000, for example, or 35,000. Yeah. But that's just my thoughts about it, though. I have a couple other tweets here. Let me quickly show you guys that before I go here. XRP Mama said 2K per XRP coin coming to a wallet near you. That video Rule just posted has me doing backflips on my bed right now. Holy smokes, Major. If the banks agree upon a price and stabilize it to, say, gold, imagine pegged to an ounce or maybe long-term a kilo, generational wealth. And again, I don't want to ruin your dreams, but stuff like this is interesting yet still very far away from realization. And yeah, something that's not in the pipeline necessarily. You might say, Dusty, it's being worked upon, we just do not know it. Could be. And I would also like to say that systems like this would and could work. But should you prepare for them? Should you be prepared that this is going to happen? No, I do not think so. Am I bullish? Do I hope so? Yes. But again, guys, I just want to be honest. I just want to be real. So either call me negative Nancy, call me, non-conspiracy type of thing, or whatever. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys, which I think a lot of people don't want to be. I think she as well is doing a lot of this purely for attention because people like to talk so extremely bullish. Let's see here. Am I right thinking Ripple said XRP is designed to handle global liquidity, where XRP could be 10,000? So not sure where he's figuring it out, mooning to 20, 30K or 35K from. Hugo says, well, if central banks keep printing money at this pace, probably they will need XRP at 20, 30,000, but inflation would be insane. Some point, again, it has some possibility there, as, yeah, if money keeps going on, and all of a sudden money supplies times 20 from where it is right now, then the amount of money in XRP that you'd be able to transfer should go times 22. Has a point. On a different sense, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the world. With, for example, $10 per XRP, you're going to be able to transfer as much as you want. The only problem is you might change the course, you could say, the value basically of the coin in such a short amount of time because you're transferring so much. But that's not true because it's, again, a net increase of 0. You are buying and selling the coin. The only problem there is that if you want to buy $1 bazillion worth, it's not going to work because, again, you don't have enough liquidity for that. But that's something which the system has to fix. You might always be able to say, well, if you want to transfer one that goes above a trillion, I don't know what the name is, quadrillion maybe in English, I'm not too sure. If you want to transfer that, it's not going to be possible because no provider is liquid enough to do that. And you're going to have an issue. Well, but nobody has that amount of money, so it's not necessary. And you can say, okay, but Dusty, if I want to transfer $100 billion worth, it's also not going to work. That's, again, the system which they need to fix, which they're going to fix. Ripple will plan on that. Ripple has planned on that. Ripple knows what they have to do. But right now, even just moving $100 billion in just US dollars is something which is extremely uncommon. And again, if it's arranged properly, this can most likely be done, as over-the-counter sales are also a thing for huge transfers, just with one rate. And also, it's Ripple's whole idea, it's Ripple's whole system to build this, so they probably will figure out a way to do this efficiently without needing a $10,000 price. Because they, of course, don't know what the market is going to do, unless you also think that Ripple has fixed every single price movement, which I do not agree with. Do I think that Ripple is keeping prices at some specific places sometimes? Well, yeah, I can find myself with that. Do I think Ripple has exactly a certain plan for how they want a price to go? I do not think so. So I also do not think they planned for a certain amount of dollars per XRP. Have they planned for a higher price per XRP? That could be. Have they planned for an exact amount that they would need for things to work? I do not think so. As you never know how good your product is going to work in the market, right? You never know if your product is going to get, 10 attention, for example, on a scale from 0 to 100, or 55 or even 80 attention, basically. So they couldn't, of course, speculate really how much interest there would be in their coin. So they couldn't base the whole system on that. So that would mean if the XRP value were to be low, Ripple would not be able to function. Ripple's whole idea would just tumble. I don't get that. I don't think that's a thing. So I'm also not going to say that Ripple would only do properly if the price were to be high. I think it would always do well. From that perspective, I also think that it's not necessarily around the corner. It's not necessarily a thing that's going to happen. Yet gold standards are a thing that's definitely not too far away, and definitely something I would keep in the back of my head. I'm not against it. But that's also on multiple gold standard systems. I would also say that there's 5 ways to view this. I've actually shown you guys 2 different gold standards and realization methods. And they all have their own benefit. They all have a certain system at which they would work. But that's more so my economic side. Again, how I like to view things. There's just multiple ways in which a gold standard would work. Some of them will involve XRP, some of them won't. All could change the system that we live in right now as well. Then Ripple just posted another article, Why Deep Liquidity is the Key to Institutional Investment in Blockchain by Ripple. Ripple's Brian Madigan outlines 4 primary attributes of liquidity and discusses the future of institutional investment in digital assets. Think about this once more. Ripple, of course, in my opinion, in my thoughts, has plans for ultimate liquidity. Ripple has shown us time and time again they do not have enough liquidity just quite yet to allow, for example, Santander to actually hop on, for example, even XRP. They do not have enough liquidity for that. They do not have enough pairs for that. Okay, so Ripple will work on getting more liquidity. Does that mean they will increase the price all of a sudden? Well, it could be that they're doing things to actually increase the price for more liquidity. It could also be they're just creating a better ecosystem where liquidity kind of makes itself, right? Where just everything is built surrounding you putting in work rather than you increasing the value of your token. As I said before, do not think that they can really control everything surrounding that. So I think Ripple would just work regardless. On a different end, Dan Held says here, Bitcoin hitting 100K doesn't seem that crazy now. Bentha Quartermont says never did. I would strongly disagree. I think for almost any Bitcoin holder, especially the ones that have been with me, for example, on the channel here for the last 4 years or so, no, that $100,000 per Bitcoin has looked strange to almost any crypto holder at one point or another, depending on where you got into it. If you got into it this year, no, it might not look strange to you. If you got into it 7 years ago, it definitely did not look that close. Because if your coin has to go times 80, that does not look easy. And XRP, it's the same thing for XRP. To go, for example, now to $100 per coin, it's for example, from a different perspective, it's really close. On the other end, it's still times 200 that it needs to go. That's a lot. But on a different end, if it's already $30 per coin in the next couple of years, all of a sudden it doesn't look like that far anymore. But it does look far away right now. It does look crazy right now. $100 per XP. You know how rich that would make a lot of us? I don't know, because I don't know how much money you have, but it would definitely be nice. Yeah, and seeing it that way, it definitely does look far away because we are far away. But the market cap here is going to break a lot of records really shortly. Again, I also think $50,000 per Bitcoin is just around the corner. If not already tonight, it could just happen. I'm definitely not against ideas like that. It could just happen really in nothing. I've said it before, though. Even Ethereum $2,000, it can really be around the corner. Really be around the corner. This one here was XRP Dude sending me, Saudi Central Bank is saying after 10 days, transfer between banks will be immediate, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Isn't Saudi Central Bank connected to Ripple? And they are. He sent me this. 2018, National Commercial Bank of Saudi Arabia joins RippleNet. And then the article for that. And also the Saudi Arabian, who has 14 million followers, by the way, news piece here, that they have been working on instant bank transfers. Yeah, and of course, it's really impossible, basically, to know whether or not this is really Ripple, but it is interesting how this is all connected together and how the circle is sometimes coming around, right? At least to me it is. And yeah, I think that was it. That was it for today's video. A long one, I know. I never make them this long anymore, but it's just, I had to really give you guys my thoughts about the whole situation. Let me know what you think about that, though, right? Where do you get $35,000 per coin? Even if you watch the video, which you should do, I cannot show you the sound, or wait, how did I say that? I cannot let you guys hear the sound. I had a, if you joined the live stream, you'd know. I had a very big discussion with myself as to how I can say that I cannot show you guys something when we were talking about sound. Because you cannot say, I cannot show you the sound because it's not something you see. I cannot hear you, the sound doesn't work. The vocabulary there is a little bit off. I cannot listen to you, the sound doesn't work either. I had a big struggle with that, but I'm just going to say it like this. I cannot let you guys listen to this sound because of the MacBook capabilities. But yeah, it's just really interesting to me. It's really interesting to me how this all works. And I'm going to leave it at that. All right, you just put down below what your predictions are for XRP price and what you think about these price predictions. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Enjoy it, everybody. Have a nice one.